Well, it's like playoffs for political nerds. This is one of those moments where, in the contest to see who's going to be the nominee against Barack Obama, this is the place where people usually will fall off. Some people are going to be left in the dust, and they won't be able to continue. This year's a little bit different because Super Tuesday, Dave Ross actually made a good analysis calling it Adequate Tuesday, because it doesn't have as many states as it has before. So it's possible with Super PAC money and obstinate willpower, some candidates will continue to keep going even if they don't have a plausible path to victory. But what Super Tuesday should show, there are more delegates at stake today than there have been in all the previous campaigns so far, all the previous elections so far up until this point. That's why Super Tuesday is a big deal, because it's 400 and some odd delegates all at once, all on one big day, and the candidates with the organization and those who have raised the money and the organization, they're going to be the ones to benefit today, and the rest, their weaknesses will be shown. Well, yeah, it'll still matter because they won't have enough delegates to secure a nomination by a long shot. This can energize a campaign if they do unexpectedly well and get more delegates, or it can sink a campaign if all of a sudden, you've got a candidate who's unable to win any single contest out of 10 states. Their supporters might start thinking, gee, maybe we should attach ourselves to somebody who does have a shot at winning. Also, you've got Mitt Romney. He's trying to build an insurmountable lead to let people know, hey, I'm inevitable. I'm going to make it. It's only a matter of time. Rick Santorum's goal today is to try and hold off as many of those delegates to Romney as possible, build up his own case as, hey, I'm still alive. I'm still a Romney alternative. I still won these states. Right now, Santorum is very likely to win Oklahoma. It's a very close contest in Tennessee. He has an outside shot at winning Ohio. He was ahead of Romney. Latest polls show Romney just squeaking ahead. But in any case, Santorum starts with a disadvantage in the big state of Ohio because his campaign wasn't organized enough at the beginning to be on all the congressional districts' ballots. And they separate, all these delegates are given by congressional district. And Santorum is off a number of those districts. So he starts off with a disadvantage in the delegate count in Ohio right from the get-go. But anyway, Santorum's got to find a way to stay in this race and say, hey, look at me. His other goal, Santorum's got a two-front war. He's trying to fight against Santorum. He's also trying to fight against Newt Gingrich, who is trying to stay alive, supercharged out of Georgia and some of the southern states, and with other southern states coming up after Super Tuesday. Gingrich is hoping for a strong enough performance today to allow himself to stay in and then show some strength through the South and try and put a stop to Mitt Romney. Well, Ron Paul will never drop out. Ron Paul's goal is a long-term kind of reform. He's building up a database of supporters. When he talks about, well, I've got this exponential growth of support election after election, that's not really the case. If he wins a single state today, it'll be a big victory for the Paul campaign. There is no path to the nomination for Ron Paul, but there is an ability to keep growing his movement, to grow his members, and then they're going to have to transfer that to some other personality. Obviously, Ron Paul is too old to keep running for president forever. He does, however, have a son, Rand Paul, who's a U.S. senator. So it's expected that he'll keep going just to build this database, and all of a sudden, he's got a son who he'll be able to pass on that political legacy to. That's what I would expect from Ron Paul. With Newt Gingrich, he's hoping for this powerful performance in Georgia again, and that's for him to say, look, I am strong, I can keep winning, I'm the alternative. People love to see him talk, love to see his debate. He is a fighter. He's trying to prove that, like a cat, he's got 9 lives. He's already risen from the dead more times than Lazarus, but he's hoping for one additional time. He hasn't been able to find it yet. Right now, the only state that he's a sure thing in is Georgia. And it's questionable whether that's enough to justify a continued Gingrich campaign, but he's an unusual candidate. And as long as his super PAC continues to fund him, it's not like it costs him anything personally to keep going. Obviously, he wasn't too excited about losing to Mitt Romney or to Rick Santorum. So Gingrich has this, he gives off this air of, hey, look, regardless of what the results have been so far, I really am the best guy to square off against Obama, so I'm going to keep going as long as there's a chance, which would mean, in this case, send it to some kind of brokered convention. all the media people are talking about Ohio. That's supposed to be the big one, because Virginia, you've got Rick Santorum, Newt Gingrich didn't qualify for the ballot. It's only Mitt Romney versus Ron Paul. Mitt Romney's going to walk away with that. He's polling at about 70%. So he'll get all the delegates of Virginia. Georgia's another big prize. Newt Gingrich, that's his stronghold. He represented it in Congress forever. Newt Gingrich is going to win in Georgia. So Ohio and Tennessee are the ones they're looking at, Ohio being the biggest prize left over. And it's a Midwestern state. No Republican has ever, in running for president, no Republican has ever won the presidency without winning Ohio. So it's this big deal state that they're going to be looking at. Santorum says, hey, I can win there. He was ahead. Remember, he was ahead by, I think, low double digits, I think about 10, 11 points just a couple of weeks ago against Mitt Romney. Romney's been chipping away at that support. Romney's up in 4 of the 5 latest polls by 1 point. But here's the thing to watch for in Ohio, and that is, what are the last-minute deciders going to do? There are some. I saw one poll in Ohio indicating that up to 50% of the likely Republican voters say they could change their mind in these final hours before voting. So what to watch for is how much momentum will Mitt Romney have with these Ohio voters? How damaged has Santorum been from the advertising of Mitt Romney and maybe being distracted by arguments he didn't have to be distracted by? So those final deciders will be really interesting to watch on Super Tuesday to see if they split evenly or if they go overwhelmingly toward Romney, because some of the same people who are answering this poll, according to public television in Ohio, they were also saying, same people who said, I could change my mind, I could make up my mind on the day of the election, those same people are saying that they view Mitt Romney as the strongest challenger to Obama. Will that fact alone mean that they'll be moving toward Mitt Romney? That'll be something to watch today, and that could indicate whether Santorum really stands a chance of gaining strength as time goes on, or is it all but a done deal?